Morning. Oh, what a journey that's been. I'm at Rydall Water and I'm trying to shoot something that I haven't shot before. I've walked past it twice and conditions haven't been right, but today is what I'm going to talk about when conditions are right for certain subjects, because certain conditions aren't right for certain subjects. And as you get more experience with landscape photography and you start to know your locations, what you get is a knowledge of where to go when you have certain conditions. And I'm in the Lake District. Behind me is the lone tree at Rydall, which I'm looking forward to shooting. And we've had, or they've had up here, so much water. Videos of the Honors Pass was like a river. I've already walked from the car park to here and my foot has come out of my wellies. It got stuck, the wellies got stuck in the mud. I literally stood in some soggy ground, which wasn't particularly pleasant. Oh, it was boggy. I got a little bit lost. I had the head torch on, which I've now put away, walked along the road, and found the tree. But what's great about today, and I'll show you the shot in a second, is that the tree, the lone tree, is surrounded by water, which it needs to be. And there's also some of the reeds here, or some of the grasses, also surrounded by water. So I think there's going to be several compositions here, which I'll talk you through. And then I want to take you back to yesterday when I was at Manistee Park. Now I didn't take you with me because I just wanted to stay handheld with the camera, with the Z8, just enjoying myself. But I took some really nice pictures, which I want to share with you. So I'll do a little voiceover of those. So lots to come. Let's get set up though, and let's try and shoot the lone tree as the sun comes up, such that it is. So as you can see, it's a wellie day, and actually I think even these wellies, and these are sort of calf length, could really do with waders today, but conditions don't look too bad. I mean, as far as water is concerned, conditions are perfect because we've got water around the tree. I've got my filters in my pocket here, and I think it's definitely going to need a polarizer to get rid of these reflections. I'm also going to want to slow the shutter speed down, so we'll see what we're getting. I would imagine at the moment I'm probably getting 5 or 6 seconds, which is definitely enough. I've put on the 14 to 30 because I've got another little idea I looked at last night. I want to get really low to these grasses. Let's turn around to see you. Low to these grasses and shoot up at the tree. Because what to try and do is separate the tree from the mountain. Now I've come over a little bit to the right from the main path because there's a little dip in the fell behind us. Not sure what that is actually, this mountain. I should know that the amount of times I've been up the Lake District, but I want to try and put it in this little dip here. And I'm thinking of the shot. I'm thinking the shot will be this grass and then the lone tree. I might need to get a little bit lower for it, because that might actually help me with the separation. I've just put the tripod quite up high, but let's change the tripod and I'll bring you over and see what we can see. Don't you love landscape photography? This is almost over my wellies. Almost. So far so good. I don't think it's going to be like that the rest of the day though. So I've got the camera low, we're going portrait with this, and I really want to be a little bit further to the right, but the water's too deep. The only other thing I could do is move over here and maybe strike a longer focal length. I might try that, but while I'm in position, and it's been a bit precarious, I'm going to shoot this. I won't take you over because I'm sure we're going to get wet. But we've got these two clumps of grasses which look lovely, beautiful. I love these grasses. I've got a 1 second exposure going on the lone tree, and by moving over to the right, I've got the grasses going into it, and it's just peeking over the top of the fell behind. Not completely, and there's also no real way that I can get it underneath the mountain, and if I did that anyway it wouldn't stand out. So there's not a great deal of light. Sunrise is over there, and we've got another 10 minutes for sunrise anyway. So I don't think it's going to be very much, but it should lighten up a little bit. But actually, with a long exposure on this, I'm just going to put a polarizer on as well. That should make this scene as good as I can get it. There's some lovely trees in the background as well, a little clump which look nice, so it actually will look quite nice from over here. So I might change the composition, and I might also shoot one from over there. Hopefully we don't get wet, but if we do, we just take our wellies off and wade in. Lovely stuff. Right, try this. Right, the polarizer is on. Just trying to stand on clumps to keep myself out of this water. I've turned the polarizer just to make sure that we've got no reflections around the grasses and the bottom of the tree. I really like that. Slowing down the exposure. We've got 6 seconds now actually. F11, 64 ISO. Focusing on the tree, which looks great. Bit of darkness in the background, so this is going to look dark and moody, but the actual grasses give it a bit of colour. It's a bit like my outer water shot that I did a few weeks ago, which is in a previous video. But I love the conditions like this. This is really good. Ooh, we've got wet foot. You can't do anything about the sunrise particularly, although you can choose not to come out, but I quite like skies that are full of rain. I think it looked really, really good. Mr. Goose having a good time. So here we go. I'm going to focus on the tree. I might focus stack this. 6 seconds. F11. And what I like about the Z8, also, and I've mentioned this, the fact the screen tips this way is so useful when you're shooting a portrait shot like this. There's no way I can lean down because I'm going to get a wet bottom. So it's really useful to have a screen that tilts like that. Just going to shoot another one. With it, there we go, focused on the front grasses here to make sure we've got plenty of depth of field, and I can blend these if I need to. And there we go. Right, see if I can find another composition. Right, here comes that image now. The inevitable has happened. I was just walking this water, oh no, it's getting even deeper there. It looked like everything was fine, and then I stood into what obviously appears to be a big hole, and now we have a very wet right sock, possibly followed very shortly by a very wet left sock. So for this one, I want to just try and get this camera, if I can, just over these reeds and photograph the tree. There we go, on its own. But what we've got here, we've got separation from the mountain behind, or for the fell. We've got that nice clump of trees over there which look really good. In fact, there's actually a clearer path slightly further to my left. I think I'm going to have to just accept I'm going to get wet feet here. Yep, there we go again. Oh, it's cold though. And blooming heck. No, I can feel my socks are actually now soaked. My wife's going to say I'm nuts, and she's possibly right. This is too deep, Dave. But there we go. I'll just empty those out in a second. And we'll just have to have a wet feet today. That looks fantastic though. The picture looks amazing. Really happy with it. F11, 2 seconds. Perfect. Ah, Right. Time to empty the wellies. Right, wellies empties, socks still wet. That's the way it goes. So the next shot is probably the classic shot, so I want to get this while I'm here, and that's going to be a shot of just the lone tree. Any grasses that I get in the photograph, I'm going to Photoshop out. And what I've done is I've placed it between, there's a tree on the left, an oak tree, which has got a little bit of a leaf still on it, and then a little group to the right, and I've put it in the middle of those two things. Just going to lower the tripod a little bit so the bottom branch of this lone tree just sits above that. And obviously it's also about the reflection, but I've got a polarizer on just to try and control that, and a long shutter speed to make sure we get a lovely smooth water. Right, let me show you the shot. Right, let me take you in the Z8. I'll put it up here. So what we've got, this is the image. I'm going to switch actually to the 24-200 because I want to get a little bit further back and a little bit more focal length. So at the moment I'm on 30mm, so need something about 50 odd, I would say. But if we look, we've got these grasses here, which are actually quite nice, so they might stay in. The tree, and then we've got this other oak tree here, and this little group that side, that's in the middle of them. It's not over the top of the mountain. This sky, I'm going to darken right down to make it look really moody, and the polarizer, if I just turn it, you'll just see that that's just controlling those reflections. To me that's too light, just want to just take them out of there. Still got the reflection of the tree in, but we've just got everything a little bit more even. So that's the shot. Here it comes now. And now I'm annoyed but not annoyed, because I found, I think, a far better composition. This is lovely. I'm going to take you in the camera in a second to show you, but that idea I had from the right, I'll be honest, I was going to use the reeds as a leading line, but there's a gap in between some reeds and they form like a V. In fact, let me show you. I'll put the camera display up here for you to see. Right, so there we go, look. And what I've got there, that works for me really well. The reeds forming that kind of V shape, the tree in the middle, and what I've got, which I'm really happy with, is obviously that reflection as well in the bottom. And I've put the tripod up fairly high so that I don't get the top of the tree over the ridge. There is one small little stick, probably about 6 inches, which I'm going to just clone out just so it doesn't work, doesn't do that. I'm using 5.6 as well, just to make it stand out for the background, but I'm also going to shoot a couple of f8 and a couple of f11 to give myself some choices. I might also focus stack one with the grasses in focus and the tree in focus, and not worry about one for the background, because that could work, because the background can be soft, but I wouldn't mind the grasses and the tree in focus. So the best way to do that, it's a bit like when doing macro, open the lens up and do 2 focus stacked images rather than f11 to cover everything, because that works better. Right, okay, let me take this and I'll show you this image. Quite excited about this one. I think this one could be the one. Just photographed that with 2 fingers in the picture, and that's to tell me when I'm processing these that the previous 2 are a focus stack. You can, the camera will, lots of camera manufacturers I'm sure do the same, but I know the Nikon cameras, you can ask it to focus stack through the menu and it will then put it in a separate folder. But I found that a bit of a pain really, because when I'm in Lightroom I can't tell anyway, so I just do that. Right, I think this is going to be the one. Here it comes now. don't know if you can see it, but we've got some rain coming in here, which is going to hit me in a minute. But what it's going to do is going to separate them. In fact, now it's going to separate the tree from the mountain. So I'm going to shoot this. Oh, what a day! Right, that's it for the day. I'm going to go back, have a coffee, breakfast and a shower and dry off my socks. And the rest of me, they got a little bit wet, but those conditions suit this shot. And I talked at the start of this video about this is what I wanted to talk about today. Conditions don't suit every single shot. Just because something's a hot spot doesn't mean it's going to look good all the time. This shot looks great with lots of water about, and we've had so much water in Cumbria or in the Lake District that it really does work, this shot, I think. So I've really enjoyed getting to know it. I can't believe I've taken so many images, but there we go. Said last year that I felt like I'd missed the best woodland season, or the best time. I'd missed out of it. I was busy at school, there was a half-term week, but this year I feel like I've absolutely smashed it. I've been out in the woodlands a lot, 3 or 4 days in the Lake District, followed by another 3 or 4 days in the Lake District, followed by some stuff back home, and a special project which I'll share with you at some point as well, which is also woodlands. So I've had the best time, and I feel like, I think next week will probably be the last week, and I think the woodland's going to be, all the leaves are going to be gone, but it's been marvellous. I've really enjoyed the Pep Ventosa style stuff, which I've shown you in a previous video, and also I've been doing some multiple exposures in the Z8. I'll put them on here for you now, so you can have a look and let me know, is this something you'd like to see how to do? Because if you do, I'll do a quick tutorial on it on one of my Wednesday night videos. It's multiple exposures for me are just an expression of the colour that you see in autumn, so they've been really good fun. I'll also put on for you some little abstracties that I did. I handheld the Z8 walking around Manistee Park in daylight, 10, 11 o'clock in the day, which is an unusual time for me to shoot handheld using my 3-legged thing, sling, and had the best time and some really good images there. I hope you enjoy them, and I'll see you next Sunday at 6 o'clock. I don't know where I'll be, but wherever I'll be drier than I am today. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.